Good evening, ladies of SheEO. Listen, you guys, my name is Keisha Spencer, also known as Coach K. Marie. I am a senior leader in the SheEO district, and I am also the director of member engagement. And on tonight, during Health Week, we have an awesome exclusive interview with an amazing young lady on tonight. And the topic of tonight is why family counseling is so important now more than ever. So as you are tuning in, we're going to give everybody an opportunity to go ahead and share. Also, just let us know where you're from. Let us know who's coming tuning in on tonight. Go ahead and post your name and where you're from in the comment section. And while you're at it, go ahead and hashtag somebody, or I'm sorry, go ahead and tag someone in this broadcast that you know may need to hear this word on tonight. Again, we're talking about why family counseling is so important now more than ever here in the Health Week at the SheEO District. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and just read the bio and introduce to you all who will be our guest on tonight. So, as you guys are sharing this, let me tell you a little bit about who will be with us on tonight. Her name is Nakia Thomas, I'm sorry. And Nakia Thomas is a marriage and family therapist associate, and she has a practice called For a Purpose Counseling. When you heal, when you heal your life, and I heal my life, something amazing happens. Nakia's goal is to make each and every one of her clients feel comfortable, valued, and heard. Her approach is direct, relational, and intimacy driven, walking with you on your journey to live life on purpose. She works with individuals, couples, and families. She specializes in blended families, high conflict couples, and couples and individuals healing after an affair. She's currently accepting new clients and have evenings and weekends available. And Nakia only has one question for you. Are you ready to begin your journey of healing? So, you guys, without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome Ms. Nakia Thomas to SheEO's Health Week here in the SheEO district. Good evening, beautiful.
Good evening. Thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank you for just being here with us on tonight. I know you're going to have so much to drop on us on tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in, tonight's topic is why family counseling is so important now more than ever. Tag someone in this post if you know they need it, and go ahead and share it now on your personal page, you guys. Go ahead and share it now. So, Nakia, I love that name, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So I'm looking at, your business For a Purpose Counseling, my business Fit for a Purpose nonprofit. And so I believe they did this on purpose, Nakia. But it's okay because everything we do in life should be on purpose.
Yes, yes.
And so, just to get straight into it, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and also tell us about For a Purpose Counseling. How did you get started? Number one, and also, what is it that you do at For a Purpose Counseling?
Okay, so this is kind of a long story and kind of, I don't want to say crazy story, but how I ended up this way. That's how I know it really was and is for my purpose. So
Okay.
I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio. I just moved to Tennessee. It'll be 3 years this year in August. My husband's job relocated us. And so um, probably trying to think how long ago it was now. Maybe about 15 years ago. I was probably longer than probably about 15 years, 15 between 20, 15 and 20 years ago. I was doing nails. I had my own nail salon and I was, like thinking back about going back to school. I had met my husband at a really young age. I was only 19 years old, and I had went to school at Clark, Atlanta, and came home for what I thought was summer break, and wound up meeting my husband, and was, oh, I'm so in love, and I don't know what to do. I can't, live without him. But my mother was like, girl, if you don't take your butt back down to Atlanta, I didn't sacrifice all this money and time for you to be talking about you can't live without some boy. But of course, I thought that, life wouldn't end unless we were together. And so I didn't go back to school, and we wound up moving in together, and life happened. And so I had started doing nails, just never thought that's what I would do, but I had kind of always been kind of creative and can kind of do some of anything. And I was like, okay, I quit my job one day, just was like, I'm going to nail school, and just did it. And then I was working in a salon, and a good friend of mine, she was getting ready to start her own salon, and it had a little like storefront attached. And so we were like, oh, that'll be perfect. I can have a nail salon to be attached to the hair salon. And so as I was, like working full time, raising kids, and, being a wife, I will always, like fuss at my kids and, say like, okay, school is so important. I'm like, well, how can I tell them if school is important if, I haven't completed? And so I was like, okay, I'm going to go back to school. And initially it was for business, because I was a business owner. And so, I started telling them like, well, if I can go to school and get good grades and take care of you and take care of the house, you have no excuse when, school is your only job. So that's how it started. And like I said, it was in business. And so then I was finding myself, I would have my nail clients, and they would never leave the shop. They would stay there after their nails were done and talk and ask me questions. And so, I'm a part of a blended family, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And it's very, different circumstances. So people are always like, how you do this and how you do that? So, people will always ask me advice and, want to hear my story. And so I just started doing that. So I said, let me go back to school for psychology. So I had got my associates in business. So then I went back to school for my bachelor's in psychology. And I was like, I think I want to, do therapy. Like, this is what I want to do. So then after that, I went and got my master's for marriage and family therapy. And it was really based on, wanting to work with blended families. Like, that was my thing. And so my name came from, I had started like with a Facebook group, and really was trying to like have a safe space for people involved in blended families to kind of work things out, because, I don't want to say unfortunately, but the times we live in now, there's so many families that are not, the traditional, husband and wife, and then you have kids, it's, either step kids or some other type of, something. You find people who have kids, before they got married or whatever. And so I knew I didn't want people to go through some of the things that I went through, even, my kids. And so I had started a group called Blended for a Purpose. And because, I truly believe that we're blended for a purpose. And so I just love that name, and I've always stuck with it. And, always was like, I'm going to do something with it. I'm not exactly sure or how, and that type of thing. And so then when I was thinking of a name for my counseling, because I know I'm still going to do Blended for a Purpose, I said, well, how about if I call it For Purpose Counseling, and then all the ideas that I have will be underneath that. And so kind of all go together. So that's how I got into, psychology and therapy. I really saw a lack in, especially the Black community, but all communities, suffer from, a lack of mental health awareness. But, unfortunately, the people who really could use it and need it, they are not educated about it. There's a stigma attached to it. They don't have the finances for it. And so we keep ending up with this cycle. And I believe that a lot of the issues that we face in our communities are, stem from a lack of mental health services, a lack of people not healing, a lack of people having the tools to deal with depression and stress and anxiety, and just having somebody to talk with and to kind of, show them that it can be different. For me, like I said, me and my husband, we were together very early in age, and we had a story. Well, we have a story, and both of us are pretty, open talking about it. And I know that is my purpose. I didn't see it, when I was going through it. Like most of us, when we going through it, it's like, God, why me? Why me? But I know now in hindsight, like, okay, I see what you were doing. So, my husband, when I met my husband, he had two children when I met him, and so I have two of my two older children. And then while we were married, my husband, he had an affair. Well, he had several affairs, and two children were produced from that. So my two younger kids are both 22. They're from May to July is just the difference. And so I remember, like, when we were in the thick of things, and I wasn't sure of what I wanted to do, if I wanted my marriage to work, if it could work, who to turn to, who to talk to, and I couldn't find anything. If it was books or different resources like on step families, it didn't look like me. When I say it didn't look like me, most of them were white families, and then too, our dynamics were different. And so you're dealing with a different situation if it's a mother and father and they divorce, and now what do we do? But when you have a whole bunch of different individuals, there was never marriage, there were different circumstances for you, have everybody dealing with different emotions, it's a mess. And so when you can't find anything, it's like you feel like you're alone, you feel like there's no hope, no one can tell you what to do because they're looking at you sideways. And but even when I was not sure, and if I wanted to stay, we were separated several times. I had got involved in different relationships and thought I had moved on, but something kept telling me, like, you have to be there. You have to be there. This is, what you're supposed to do. And half the time, I was looking at myself crazy. Like, what are you talking about? Like, why is you here? But it's like, I laugh now because I'm just like, oh my goodness. Like, if I wouldn't have like just everything that, that's happening now, it wouldn't have been. So I know, and this is what I hate, because I know I'm going to get choked up about it, but I know that, it's my purpose. And so I just really wanted to find, a way to help other people to see, because, that's our world now, is that, it's single mothers, it's single dads, it's, children who don't know their father. And then when you add the mental health to it, it's just like a mess. And so people are like, what to do. And I remember, like growing up, we didn't talk about mental health. We didn't know what mental health disorders was. It just was, don't go by that house because so-and-so, he crazy. And we don't know what he gonna do, but just stay away. But what's crazy? What is that? So, people, they have that stigma that, okay, if I say that I have this or I'm acting this, then people are going to kind of shun me and not know how to deal with me. And, even now I know people, friends and family members that they just kind of dismiss them like, oh, they crazy, and kind of, she just that way. We just want to kind of dismiss it.
I think that since we're talking about it, I think that that's a lot that's overlooked nowadays, is the fact that what's going on in your lives, how it affects the children, and how everybody knows what ADHD is or what ADD is, and so those are about the only two things besides a medical disability that most people identify children with having. However, something is typing. However, emotionally, things happen within their life, and children don't know how to express it. You still have some adults that do not know how to express their hurt, their pain, their trauma, or it does not even have to be a pain or a trauma. It can more so just be of not feeling like they're being heard, or someone is overlooking their feelings because they don't understand what's going on in the adult world. So, again, I do really think that family counseling is extremely important. And just listening to your journey, and listen, we have so much in common. When I went to school, my first year in college, I was my major was business management, and my minor was in psychology. I knew that I wanted to learn how people think. Number one, because you can't help anybody if you don't know how to look deep.
Right.
And as a therapist, I know, you have to really look deep. Like I used to pray and I used to ask God for his eyes. And the reason why I asked for his eyes is because I wanted to see people the way he's
Mm-hmm.
seen people and not for the behavior that they portrayed,
Yes.
because a lot of it goes back to mental health.
Yeah. And not just mental health too. It goes to our family and our environment. And like you
Yeah,
were saying, like parents and just individuals, everybody has their own trauma. And a lot of people don't even realize what trauma is. And so
yeah,
we just think of trauma like, oh, PTSD, or if you went to the war. Like, no, like those are big T traumas. There's little
yeah,
T traumas, like complex trauma that it may not be traumatic for me, but it might be traumatic for you. And kids,
exactly.
especially nowadays, like the world is so different. And so we don't understand all the things that they go through. We kind of dismiss it like, oh, when I was this age, da 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 da, and we dismiss it. And even as, parents, and people say, well, I'm a good parent. It's not about you being a bad parent, but sometimes we don't know how to give a child what it is that they need, and each child needs something different. And it's not right or wrong. It's just that we're unable to give them everything. We can't be everything. We don't know
Yeah,
everything. And so if we have that narrow-minded lens that it's just one way to do things, and this is my way or the highway, that's why so many people are lost. It's
yes,
various
most
ways, and we have to
definitely.
constantly learn. I know, with my 4 children, all of them are different, and all of them you know have different personalities, different strengths, different weaknesses. You have to approach them different ways. And
Yes.
I look at from my oldest one, and the things that we did when we were young, and
Okay.
it's like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I want people to start normalizing therapy, where it's not just like, oh, when it's a crisis, that's when I need to turn
Yeah,
to it. It's like, I'm a therapist who has a therapist. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? And so it's like,
Exactly. Because I'm a
sometimes you
life
just
coach,
need
but
to,
I got a life coach. I got all type of coaches and
yes,
mentors in my life.
yes, to process and to show you that there is, different ways for you to
Yeah.
handle things, that it doesn't always have to be, a certain way. And, your life, you can design your life how you want it to be. And it's not cookie cutter. It's not because, oh, this person, this worked for them. That might not work for you. And that is
Exactly.
okay. And that is okay. And for me, my spirituality is very important to me. And I know when I was like in the thick of stuff, I remember, like, I laugh about it now, but I remember he's the pastor at my old church now, but at that point he was the associate pastor, and he knew a lot of stuff that me and my husband was going through. He would pray for us, and talk with us and things like that. And I remember one day, I can't remember exactly what I was pissed off at, but I remember coming to him like, look, I am done. I can't deal with it no more. And I'm just, like, bawling, crying. And he, it was so much stuff going on. He was like, I understand you, Sister Nakia, but you know what the Bible. I'm like, look, no disrespect, but don't tell me what the Bible says. I know what the
You
Bible says. I don't want to hear a verse.
just didn't want
I
to hear
need
it right
somebody
then and
who
there.
understands what I'm going through now. I need somebody who's dealing with this situation to say,
Exactly.
okay, I feel you. Okay, this is what to do. And it was, and it's yes, I believe in the Bible. Yes, Bible verses are, I pray and all of that. But sometimes you need somebody to walk along with you, who can understand,
Yes,
who can
most
see, that
definitely.
says, okay, look, yes, the Bible says this, but I know you're hurting now. And so
Yes,
it's okay. Our emotions, okay. We have been
yes,
brought up to not, like, dismiss our emotions, like our emotions are bad. Like, what you got to be mad about? Why are you angry? Why are you crying? Why are you so emotional? Why are you so this? And so we start stuffing it down, and we don't express it. Then we walking around mad. Then we wonder why we have so many health disorders, and heart attacks, and just various different things,
yes.
because we stress out. We don't know how to express it. We don't know how to say, I'm angry, and why am I angry? We
And
don't
sometimes,
talk about it.
and you know what? Sometimes it's because you can be angry for so long that it becomes just a second nature of you just to walk around angry to the point you don't even know why you're angry anymore. But it's not anger; it's more so hurt.
Mm-hmm.
That you're hurt and you hadn't really processed how you feel. You hadn't even acknowledged, you know what I'm saying, the depth of your hurt. Some people Some people keep their feelings balled up inside because they don't feel that anybody will understand what they're going through. Or you were taught to keep it to yourself. Like, back in and, I'm in my 30s. And so the generation before my generation, they weren't as transparent with me as a child, those in my generation as a child. It was more so like close the door. You know what I'm
We
saying?
didn't talk about it. We didn't
We
talk
didn't talk
about it.
about it.
And so even like when we grow up, we start being shameful because of things, and so people act like this stuff that we're dealing with is new. Like blended families, we put a different name to it. It's been like that. Do you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like when I look back on my family, it was a whole bunch of people that had different
Look,
daddies. They just didn't name it, or you ain't talk about it. It was none of your business.
Look, they made songs about it. Papa was a rolling stone.
Yes. But that's the problem with our community, is that we don't talk about what is going on until it's too late. And we're easily, ready to tell somebody else's business, to say what somebody else is going through, but not addressing what we are going through, and realizing that each relationship that we go to, the more that we are, traumatized, the more that we have unhealed, hearts and hardened hearts. Each relationship that we go to, we are bringing that mess to each relationship. And I'm not just talking about, romantic or intimate, but friendships. Why so many people, you post no new friends, or they hating on me, or no, you hating on yourself.
Okay.
Even when I'm working with couples and they want to come and they say, oh, well, it's him, it's her. And they get mad because the first thing I start doing, we're going to look at ourselves. Like, and that was the hardest thing for me. I was so, like, okay, I'm going to get my husband back. I'm going to do whatever. Or I kept saying, because he had kids, that, he was so worse off than what I was doing. I was cheating just like him.
Yeah.
He just didn't know all my stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't get caught like him, but that don't mean that I'm better than him. And we kind of, have levels of sin, levels of wrong. No, wrong is wrong. We're not about to level this stuff out. No, it's wrong. And until I had to see that and see my wrong and see where it was coming from, because I was hurt.
Yeah.
And so, like they say, hurt people, and that is the truth.
You know what? I posted that the other day, and I said, let's denormalize the saying of saying hurt people, and let's try to reach out to those that need help. That are hurt, and help the hurt.
Yes.
But when you're doing that, you got to start with yourself first.
Do.
If you can't,
a relationship is more than one person.
Yes.
And what people don't realize is that as you go on from relationship to relationship, what's the common denominator? You. So you keep wondering why all your relationships are a mess. Who you keep bringing to those relationships?
Yep.
You.
Yep. You. And you know what? I'm currently going through a divorce, by the way. And we've been separated since 2018. And we were together for 11 years. We had a it was a relationship. We had good times, we had bad times. But ultimately, I got confirmation that it was my time to go, However, when I left, me not thinking about how it would affect my children, you know what I'm saying, in the process, because they were so used to that foundation. Like for my oldest son's biological father is not living, and he actually passed when my son turned 2. Mm-hmm. And so my husband came into my oldest son's life at the age of 3. And so that's who he know as daddy. And then we had 2 children together, and he actually had a son when we met. So we blended a family. He had a son, I had a son. And that went well for a while. But things happened within our relationship that, it got to the point where it was too much going on for me to handle. And then, of course, infidelity took place on his end, and there was something that was you have non-negotiables, you have deal breakers. That was a deal breaker for me, because the type of relationship that I thought we had and the respect that I thought he had for me. Now again, like you said, when you go through counseling and you know that the love is there, you know that it can come back together with the right type of help. For our situation, it was more of a confirmed separation. It was confirmed by God for me personally, because the way things transpired, I had prayed for it. I had to got down on my knees and I had to told God, look, now I said I do, and I'm trying to hold tight to this, because number one, this is my second marriage. And so my first marriage, I got married for all the wrong reasons, and I was young, and I met him while I was pregnant with my first son. So me and my son's father was never together. And so after 6 months, we was separated. We was separated. But so I really wanted to, this was my end goal. But when things happened, I uh, left my home. It took my kids with me, moved to my mom's home. They were used to having their own place, their own, rooms, their own comfort zone. And I didn't realize, because in my mind, I'm getting my mind off the hurt. I'm getting my mind off the pain. I'm focusing on me and trying to better myself. But I didn't realize that it was affecting them, because it was no longer normal to them anymore. And they couldn't completely process their change. And so that gets me, back to our topic at hand, why family counseling is so important now more than ever, especially with the when the pandemic started and everybody had to be closed in with one another. It's like, you got to go on and figure out if you like this person or not, and if whatever you don't like, y'all better go on and hash it out now.
Yeah. But that leads to a point, and that's one of the things that I deal with couples and families, is that, which we don't do. Number one is communication.
Yes.
And so each transition that you have to reassess your relationship. I know, like for me and my husband, when we became, like empty nesters, it was kind of like, oh, well, what we do now? Like, I don't know if I like you. Like, I'm spending this much time with you when I'm used to, like the kids are filling it up. And so what does that look like? How do we have to readjust? If there's a death in the family, a death of a child or a death of a parent, like these are times that you have to reassess. If you want your relationship to work, it's, we get so caught up into the beginnings, like, oh, I'm so in love, that love feeling. Listen, there are going to be times in your relationship where you're not feeling loving. It's times I be looking sideways, like, I really did this, like, I really committed to this over and over again, like, okay. But then there's days I'm like, okay, God, I know why. And so you can't go based on love. Relationships is a choice. We have to choose, and you have to choose daily on what it is that you're going to choose. You have to find your why. And your why might be different from my why. Like for the longest, my why was for my kids. Like I said, we have 4 kids. 2 my husband had before we were, before we had met, and then 2 he had during our marriage. But then, I always wanted to be a mom, and I always wanted to have, like a house full of kids. My goal in life, I didn't want to, like be, a businesswoman. I wanted to be like my mom. My mom was a housewife. She, cooked 3 meals a day, took us to ballet and gymnastics, met us at the bus stop, was the PTA. Just, that was my mom, and that's what I wanted to be. And so, it was like kind of like devastating when what I thought my life was supposed to be like didn't turn out. And within our marriage, I had like 15 miscarriages, and the doctors never, could say what it was that, why I couldn't, hold a child. But it just wasn't meant. And I really had to, realize it. But then I started thinking like, girl, you is tripping. Like we have our own vision on how we think, our life's supposed to be. And we don't allow for the variables. And so, when I'm thinking, I'm like, I am a mother. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. My kids, they see me as a mother. Like, no, it's not how I thought it was supposed to be. But that still doesn't mean that I didn't live the life that I wanted. And so it's like, I knew that was my purpose. So for the longest, my kids were my reason why. And then I had to readjust, like, okay, am I doing it just for my kids? Or if I'm doing it for myself, and it's for myself, well, what can we do to make this happy if we're going to be together? And we had to come down. But a lot of people, we don't know. And we are surrounded by, people who are, negative, people who are going to bring you down, who want you
Yeah.
to be in a worse position that you are. So surrounding yourself by people who are going to motivate you, who's going to
Yeah.
encourage you, who's going to tell you when you're wrong. Like those are things all that are, important in this whole process. And just a therapist is one of those people that can kind of give you that unbiased
Yes.
process, but also kind of show you different ways to handle things, that it's not in, especially women, Black women, we so like, oh, I'm strong, I'm built for this, I can handle this. No, it's not meant for you to handle it all. And
Come on now.
that's not being strong. Like
Come
being
on.
strong is sometimes saying like, look, I need help. And that's one of the hardest things for me. Like I hate to ask for help, but I had to realize that I can't do this on my own.
Exactly.
And we're not meant to do it on our own. We're not.
Exactly.
And we also, we get caught up in titles too. And so, not only do we get caught up in titles, we get comfortable in, being angry, being known as that angry, bitter person. Yeah. And it's because our body, we have to realize the mind and body connection. Yes. And so it's not just mental. Like I just don't focus on the mental piece, but also our bodies and just overall health. And so sometimes we say we want to change, but we really don't because it's comfortable. This is all we know. Yes. This is all we know. So like if I'm the single mother and I've been doing this all on my own, this is all I know. And I've been getting attention being the single mom or the baby mama. That's my title. And so that's what I'm going to hold on to. So we say we want something different, but when somebody comes and say, hey, I can help you, you've been saying you won't help, but you really don't want because you've been holding this title. Right. You've been holding this title that I can do this on my own. I got this. So really, what is it that you want?
So do you really want to change?
Right. Or, I'm single. I'm so lonely. I'm this, I'm that. Well, who want to be with somebody if, oh, woe is me, life ain't. So do you want to change, or are you really comfortable getting that attention of knowing as that title? So we have to really, ask, like I said, it goes back to self. We have to ask ourselves those hard questions. Yeah. What does change look like? What am I willing to do to change? Really, what is my purpose? And from there, I tell all my clients, we dreaming big, because if it's just something that you're doing now, what's that? You're already doing it.
Exactly.
We aiming high. We aiming high. And then we're going to take that. And then, okay, so now today, what is it that you can do? What is it that you can start doing today to aim to that, to get to that position?
Most definitely. And so, that's kind of like the direction that I go in as a coach. Like I have a workbook out this. The title of it is "What's My Assignment? The Journey to Discovering Your Purpose." So basically, starting off in the beginning, before anybody can make a change, is recognizing self-awareness. You can't change anything if you don't feel like anything is wrong with you. Because some people really don't see themselves. They don't see the need for change.
Yeah.
But when those relationships start failing, when, people start walking away from you, when you start to feel alone at night. Now, a lot of people can go to bed alone without a spouse or a mate or something, but they can go to bed just as happy as they want to be.
Yes. But it's a mind state.
It's all about the mind
state. That's what it is. And also, we don't name things. And so we get so like, oh, that's just how so-and-so is. Or,
look,
I'm just always depressed. That's just, no, like you don't have to be that way. And so really just recognizing, we all have depressed moments. We all have stressful moments.
Exactly.
But when you can't function, when it's taken over your life, then that's when we need to look at something else. That's when it's a disorder. When it's impacting how you live, how you think, how you move. Then
I call it
not just that.
How they say, most therapists, life coach and things like that, they normally have their hero simplex. I call the other side the victim. The victim. A lot of people like to play the victim because it sounds good. It sounds good that somebody did you wrong and this,
Yeah.
that, and the other, and I'm just so hurt and I'm just so down about it. But you're only down about it because you're allowing it to keep you down. You know what I'm saying? If
Well,
we could,
is that to a certain degree, but then it's also the mental health side
yeah,
when, no matter what you do, it's still is something
it's
there.
still
But
there.
we don't know. It's just until recently. And
Yeah,
then, people just, if you act in a certain way, oh, they just
yeah,
bipolar, or they schizophrenic, they, got multiple personalities, just
yeah.
throwing out these things and not really knowing what these things are and that they are real things. And
Real,
so a lot
yeah,
of things, we go back to like our family members, especially now, I'm like, oh, so and so was kind of, but we didn't have a name for it. We didn't know. And so we just kind of just dealt with it. And what kind of life could you live if you really had the help that you
yeah,
need? That's why I try to tell people, like, the disorder does not define
yeah,
you. It
yeah.
doesn't. It
And
doesn't
then, and
define
like
you.
you
Like, you
said,
still can have, a fulfilling
yeah,
life. You just have to know how to manage it. You need the
yeah,
support, but you
most
can't do it on
definitely.
your own. And you can't do it if we don't acknowledge it. But
Yes.
it's that stigma.
Yeah. And like you said, one a lot of people, the word depressed and, and anxiety is now a common thing, and everyone is saying, oh, I'm just depressed, oh, it's my anxiety and things of that nature. But everybody is not suffering from depression. Like you said, it could be a moment where you're depressed, but those that are suffering from depression, like you said, they normally come back to their place. Like you can take them out, you can take them out of town, you can take them to Disney World, you can give them the best time of their life. And at the end of the night, they're going to go back to that depressed stage because you hadn't found out where the root of the depression came from. And that's why people need help. That's
Yes.
why when you realize that you keep on coming back to that place of darkness where you don't feel like you have the strength to even pull through or to even change your mindset, that's when counseling comes into play. That's when you go out and you get the help.
Yeah.
So for blended families. So since we were talking about, coming together, you have your own kids, somebody, because if you're not already married now, and you're in your 30s and on up, more than likely whoever you meet is going to have children. They may have some that are already grown, but even your grown children matter because I'm going to use
Man,
something.
listen. It doesn't. Listen. They lie
Because
when they
they'll
say,
come
"Oh,
in looking
when you're
like,
18, you done." That is not the case at all. Not the case at all. And I just realized that the older my kids get, like, the more they need their parents. Like, yes,
yeah,
it's going to be different, but it never stops. And so when you're blended families, you have to understand that piece. Like,
yeah,
especially not just the children, but the other mothers, the other
yeah,
fathers. Like, you are forever connected with these people. So
yes,
my thought is, this is how I always looked at it as. Like, I'm going to treat somebody's kids, if they're my kids or the neighbor's kids,
exactly,
I'm going to treat your kids like how I would treat my own. And
exactly.
so my thing is, and this is what I don't understand, it's hard for me to wrap my head around in blended families, is your child is around somebody. Why wouldn't you want to know who they
Come
are?
on now, come on
Why
now.
wouldn't you want to have a good relationship with them?
Who's influencing your child when you're not
Yes.
around?
And especially, I'm talking to the women because we're the ones we know who, basically have to do everything. And so if you taking your child over to their father's house and you don't like the girl, trust me, she's doing something for your kid. She's going to cook. She's going to make sure his hair is brushed. I'm not saying that all men are like that, but
Yeah,
9 times out of 10, the woman is going to have to do those type of things. And
yeah,
so I'm not going to be miserable for the rest of
yeah,
my life. I just refuse to. So I'm going to try to find the way, but it impacts the kids when the kids hear these different messages and they don't know, they feel like
yeah.
they have to choose. So let
And
me
you
tell you
are
this.
you
My
arguing
young
with
my
one
youngest
of them.
daughter, my
Yes,
youngest daughter, I have different relationships with all four of my kids. I love them all, but I've learned different things and
yes,
I was taught different things by each and every one of them. My youngest daughter, it was it's not perfect, but the way that we handled things, it was perfect for us because she was really the only one out of our kids that didn't have to choose between me and her mom. Was it perfect? By no means at all.
Yeah.
But it made a difference because her mom always put her first. No matter, she couldn't stand my husband. She couldn't stand him, and hardly ever, still to this day, don't have too much to say to him. But me and her, it was like when she was 6, when my husband, really started being involved in her life.
Yeah.
And she started, spending the night over to our house. And so I remember the very first time she spent the night, her mom had wrote me a letter. And she was like, I'm sorry for, whatever has happened. That's the past. Yes. I don't even care about that stuff. My daughter loves you. That's all she talks about is, what good care you take care of her. And so we good. And so from that moment on, me and her, we've never had a bad word. We can communicate now.
And that's important. That's important for their child. That's how it is with, I have a stepson, and at first, me and his mom bumped heads, but come to find out, in her mind, what my ex was lacking at the time as a father, in her mind, she's looking at me as a woman and a mother, like, you just stand around and watch him be inconsistent and this, that, and the other. And so her not trying to get to know who I was, to see that whatever was going on between the two of you, that was not a reflection of who I am as a woman. And so it took us years to get to a place where we could actually have a conversation to say, look, I'm a mother just like you're a mother. I may have the same issues with the same man that you have a child with. Please understand that when I go shopping for mine, I go shopping for yours. When I'm thinking about what mine need, I'm thinking about yours, because again, if you're blending as a family, your children become my children become your children. That's just the way. That's just the bottom line.
You have to think about the child. And so if everybody has what's in the best interest of the child, it doesn't mean that I have to like what you do. It doesn't mean I have to even like you as a person, but we're going to have, respect. Yes. And so, that's how my youngest, she didn't have to choose. Like she didn't have to, make her mother think that she didn't like me. And so she feels she's balanced. She doesn't call me mom. She calls me her Kia. She say my Kia. And she has her mom, but she'll tell anybody, like, it's because of me and her mom and her grandmom that she's the person that she is. And it was like, I think that's, even my husband, he would say, that was really the difference, in how she was raised, was because she didn't have to choose. And we have to understand that it is okay. Like, no one is trying to take, your title.
Yes.
No one is. It's okay for it to be multiple people. And this is the thing with blended families that really bothers me. Like, we're fine if we call somebody's the neighborhood mom, like, oh, that's Ma there. We fine with that. We fine to get help. Oh, it take a village. It take a village, except when you're the other woman. Then it's not
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? What?
A lot of that stems from just hurt within their past relationship.
Yes, unforgiveness and past hurt that you have not healed from. So that's again why we have to learn to heal, because it impacts every single part of our relationship. And then you have, I'm good, I don't care. You do care. At some point, it's something, because you wouldn't still be holding on to these things. And it's okay to care. Like, if you had a child with somebody, if you had a relationship, like, you have to heal from that. Yes. You have to heal from that, or you're going to go to the next one with the same stuff and go to the next one. And that, a lot of times, a lot of women, and I was one of those women, I'm raising my hand. I was a habitual relationship person. Like, I didn't know how to be with just me. I wasn't comfortable with me because I hadn't did my work. I hadn't healed. So I found myself going from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship, and fully not knowing what I'm doing, and bringing other people into my mess and my undecisiveness, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know if I still wanted to be married or not, or kind of like in a single life, but also still wanted to be married.
I think a lot of women go through that, especially women that have been married or in long-term relationships, because you're so used to being with someone. When their relationship ends, you're kind of jumping to from every person that you encounter, you're trying to force a relationship with because you're so used to being with somebody. So
It's
of
not. It's
course,
not that you just so used to being with somebody. You're afraid to be by yourself,
you
and you
yeah,
don't want
you
to. And you don't want to. You don't want to deal with your stuff.
you know what? And so, you have the women that go out here and did me. I'm like you, I'm raising my hand. When me and my husband separated, I was trying to find myself, but I was trying to find it in somebody else's
And
bed.
somebody else that's gonna compliment you, that's gonna feel your worth and make you think you whatever.
All
But that's
that.
what we have to do, the self work, to know
Exactly.
that I am worthy. I deserve love. I require love. I can have this. I can have that. And whatever somebody else brings me, that's gonna be in addition to what I
Exactly.
already know. And so if we still don't know that, then we're gonna go and we're gonna take the scraps that somebody giving us. If it's just a look or if it's just, a compliment, a DM, we're gonna run for it because we're operating in a state of lack. We're just searching,
Exactly.
we're picking up the crumbs and not knowing that there's something whole out there for us, but we filling ourselves with crumbs and not getting satisfied.
And it ain't those, it's not those good crumbs that Naomi was picking up. I mean, it ain't those good crumbs that Boaz was leaving behind. You know what I'm saying? It's not those crumbs, but
Mhm.
it's the leftover crumbs that done fell down to the ground
And
from
we get more,
somebody's
and we
mouth.
get more, each relationship, we're getting more sad, more hurt because we still searching for even in relationships, we look, I just want him to make me feel love.
Yeah.
No person, not a man, not a friend, nobody was meant to feel you in a way like that. That's
Yeah.
not their job. So if we keep searching for that, we're gonna continue to search because
Yeah.
one person is not meant to do that. You
Yeah.
have to have that from God and from within. You
From within. Yes.
Yes. And so we
You gotta
expect people to feel areas that weren't even meant for them to feel.
come on now.
We just that's just how it
Come on
is.
now. I tell everybody, I tell people all the time, you are responsible for your own happiness. You cannot seek happiness in another being. They can do something that makes you happy, but they cannot ultimately make you a happy person. You have to find what makes you happy from within. They can only add to the vibration that you are already experiencing.
Yeah.
And if they see that you're happy, you're a happy person, and they come around you with a negative spirit, then they're going to have to adjust to your spirit, because if you are already in a place of hurt and darkness, then you meet someone else and they're at the tip top of their life and they're happy, they're excited about life, and you're this depressed and you're always complaining, and you're talking to them as if they're the reason that you are already hurt, and you hadn't dealt with something that was come from when you were a child or something like that. And a lot of it's because we don't know.
Yes.
We
And so
don't know.
you just said come from a child. You don't know how many individuals, couples that I see, and when you start digging, it's always coming from the childhood. It's
Yeah,
always either molestation or
yeah,
negative self-talk that most of it too is like when you I like to do you know go back to like the mother, the grandmother, to go through and see, okay, who else suffer from mental health,
yeah,
who else suffer from
yes.
substance abuse and things like that. And that's a
They didn't
whole
talk
nother
about
issue.
they
That's a
didn't
whole
talk
nother
about
issue
mental
when we
health.
talk about substance abuse and how we have normalized that and don't really realize the root of that is just addiction. And
Yeah,
as a community we have come to you know say one addiction is better than the other and wonder why people going from addiction to addiction. But
yes,
addiction can be anything that you do
yes.
in excess and you replace for other things. And
Come
so
on now.
we have to talk about that. And
Yes.
that's a hot
Listen.
topic for me because
That's a huge topic, because
yeah,
you can be addicted to sex, you can be addicted to shopping, you can be addicted to
to
gambling,
men, to
you can be addicted
attention, you can be
to
addicted to
attention.
so
Yes,
much stuff, so much
yes. And
stuff.
when you don't get what it is that you are addicted to, you become
keep
mean,
replacing it for something else.
agitated, frustrated, and you don't know, you suddenly don't know how to communicate with the people around you anymore, because you really can't fight that itch that you have for what you're addicted to.
Yeah, but it's so much that in families, and pretty much everybody that I counsel, it always stems something from childhood. Even
Yeah.
the negative talk that we talk to children, tell them that they can't be
Yeah.
whatever, and just the things that they go through, that
Yeah.
it carries on to their life.
Yeah.
As an adult, and it really impacts them. They never dealt with it, and that leads to another issue. And so I have so many things like I just want to do, but I really want to make mental health, services affordable for all, because, even now I get so many DMs or emails that people, like really crying out for help. And then the biggest blocker is finance. They can't afford it. And so it's really, when you see people who really need the help, and it's like, they're the ones who can't afford it.
Yes.
And so we wonder why our communities are so, filled with just mess, because we have so many unhealed people. And a lot of it too is just the communication, just speaking up to even say like, hey, it's me, I need help. Hey, I need, education on this. Hey, I don't know this. Hey, I do think I'm feeling this type of way, but we don't feel like we have somebody who can, we can talk to, who we can bring it up, instead of people dismissing it. Oh, you fine.
I just understand. That's where it comes from. Ain't nothing wrong with her. She just be throwing a tantrum.
She just wants some attention.
She just wants some attention.
Yeah, but
then,
you know what?
When
something happens, and then that person, commits suicide, or they have a nervous breakdown, then it's, I'm asking all my prayer warriors to pray for my so-and-so. But when your so-and-so was waving the flag like, hey, I need help, we was dismissing it. We was, or social media, that's a whole nother thing, where people are actually out, crying for help. Then people laughing and joking, making mockery out of them, saying like, oh, they just want attention. Then when something happens to them, then everybody's feeling bad. And so it's just that whole, that we have to fit this image, that we have to look like this one, because they, portraying their best self on social media. That's one reason, I try to be as transparent as I can be. Like, look, trust me, this is
because that's where people trust you at, because when they realize, number one, you're not coming to them because of something that you read in a textbook.
I say that all the time.
The textbook.
I tell my clients, look, I'm not asking you, or I wouldn't tell you to do something that I have not already done or are willing to do. And that's real talk. Like, I'm still a work in progress, because we're all perfect. No one is perfect. We all striving. We all striving to improve ourselves. Well, we should. We're never going to stop learning. We should always be thirsty to read, to learn, to expand our knowledge on different things.
And just like they say, we should always be prepared to change with the season. If it was something you didn't like about yourself in the last season, or you didn't see yourself, excelling in it, or it did not bring you joy or happiness, it's okay to be like, you know what, that's not for me. It's time for me to adjust to the change.
And have people around you that's going to call you out on. Listen, my best friend, I love her dearly. And people, they think it's just all, funny games with us. Listen, if anybody would get me together, would be her. She would tell me when I am raggedy. She would tell me, when I need to do whatever, when I'm dead wrong. But she also gonna be my cheerleader.
Exactly.
And, tell me and push me to do it. Like, girl, you can do this. You better do this. Why you doing this? You said you want to do this. Tell me your plan. What's going on?
I'm that friend that does that. So I'm the friend that and when you come to me and I say, now, do you want my friend advice, or do you want, what I'm saying? I give.
No, she don't do that. She just gonna tell you.
You want the real? Because I need to make sure you're ready to accept this. So I need to know if you want the real. Because other than that, I don't even want to talk about it no more. And friends should be like that. And to be honest, that's what the SheEO district is. Like, when we kick off this accountability program, you better get you an accountability partner, somebody to tell you, nah, baby, you need to, first of all, you need to snap out of it. Like, that's gonna, and I'm calling her out on this broadcast. I call Kelly A. Barnes all the time, my sister mama, the sister mama, because her tone is so direct, but she means so well for you to succeed that it burns her to see when somebody is not succeeding and they have so much potential. So when I need somebody to get me in gear and say, look, girl, you get it together. You need to start, you need to do this, you need to do this, you need to do that, or no, I don't think that's a good idea for you. I think that's not a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody to tell you that as well. You don't want nobody sending you out. Like, for example, if your makeup and all that, listen, friend, I don't like your eyebrows being that thick, or you know what I'm saying? Or no, don't wear that right there, because it's, you know what I'm saying? Just to be real with you.
Yes, my friend, she'll say, what you got going on? What's that?
I'm gonna need you. Or when you're depressed and you're in your sadness, somebody to say, okay, I love you. I know you're going through, but I need you to get it together, baby. I need you to come on, push through. You're a fighter. You done went through worse than this. Come on now. Somebody to just get you back on track. And
I had somebody reach out to me, and it was like one of the best things. She had reached out to me for services, and it wasn't for her. It was for a friend that she knew was going through and couldn't afford services. And she was like, if I could just pay for a couple of services without her even knowing, because I know she, she's prideful. She's not going to accept any help, but she really needs help. Like, those are people that we need, that's going to encourage you to do the work. That's going to encourage you to, and, I'm still going to, continue to strive to try to find ways to make mental health services, affordable, give back where I can. I'm trying to do,
and it's definitely needed. And when you find out, let me know. Let me in on it. But we got a couple of more minutes before we close out. Everyone that's watching, if you're just tuning in or you're tuning in late, just hit replay. Make sure you share this broadcast, because a lot of people are going through the same things, especially in their families, whether it's a blended family, whether it's a single family household with just a parent and their children. You need help if you are going through a transition or a change in your life. And sometimes you don't even have to be going through a transition or a change. Some people just grow into themselves, and everybody don't know how to handle one another. So if you are in the Springfield, am I saying that right?
No,
Murfreesboro, Tennessee area. You don't even have to be in the area, because a lot of things are virtual now. Nakia, how can we get in touch with you?
So you can give me a call. My phone number is 615-604-0842. I am on Facebook and Instagram at For Purpose Counseling. My website is forpurposecounseling.com. You can email me at Nakia Thomas at For Purpose Counseling, and I would love to answer any questions, connect. I'm also trying to do a Zoom group specifically for women. I'm calling it Blended Sisters, for women who are a part of blended families, so we can heal, so we can build our communities and help our children become the best selves, and just influence each other and support one another. So if you like my page, and you can be updated on the various things that I'm trying to do and upcoming events.
Thank you so much, Nakia.
Thank you, Keisha. It was a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure. And listen, look, we made it through the hour. And truth be told, if we had more time, we would be talking all night, because mental health is real. Not only mental health, but just social, emotional, the needs of just the human race, because we're all going through something at some point of our life, and it's all about having the tools to work through those things. It's inevitable that you're going to go through something, so you can't avoid trauma, you can't avoid mistakes, you can't avoid hurt, you can't avoid pain, you can't avoid any of these things. It's inevitable that it's going to happen, but do you have the tools to get through those things? So that's why you seek counseling, so that you can have the help in the back of your head when you are going through things. So we're going to close out with a prayer. If everybody could just bow their heads really quick, wherever you are. Father God, we thank you for this night. We thank you for just having a platform where we can talk about counseling and helping those that are in need of help. God, we thank you for Miss Nakia Thompson on tonight, just being transparent and real with us and basically shedding light on families, blended families, and how we can help one another to just live better lives holistically. So, thank you, God, for just this platform, the SheEO District, and those of you all that have tuned in on tonight. We pray that you all receive something from the message on tonight, and we ask that you continue to bless those that are listening and those that listen to the replay, those that are dealing with things in their family and need that extra help. God, we ask that you send your angels into their lives and you work it out on their behalf. And these things we ask in your son Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Keisha.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so much.
CEO. Thank you, guys. I really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you. Thank you, SheEO. Please share this video. And if you catch it on the end, please press hashtag replay in the comments section. We love you guys here at the SheEO District, and we are closing out Health Week. See you guys tomorrow for Hype Me Up Friday. Don't forget, the marketplace is open on tomorrow, so you guys need to tune into the district. We got some amazing business owners that are coming out on our marketplace on tomorrow. So y'all have a blessed night, and thank you again for tuning in.